Same block brothers, follow the code. Never leave one alone. Same block brothers, follow the code. Through the rain, we carry the load. Same scars, same road. Yeah, for my brothers. Came from the basement where the cold wind blew. One plate on the table, had to split it in two. Different blood in our veins, but the struggle was shared. When the whole world vanished, you were already there. Old shoes on our feet, big plans in our heads. Made a promise to rise while we slept without beds. Every door stayed locked, every street felt rough, but we stood side by side when the nights got tough. You covered my back when the trouble came near. I carried your pain when you buried your fear. Never counted the favors, never asked for a price. Real brothers give everything, no thinking twice. Now the city knows our names, but we still move low. Same men from the pavement, still protecting the code. Hold the code. Same block, same scars, never leave your brother cold. Never fold, never fold. Never leave your brother cold. Stand your ground, don't run, stand your ground. Blood ain't the reason that we call you family. Stand your ground, don't run, stand your ground. When the darkness comes, you can depend on me. Yeah. Midnight in the Chevy, passing streets we knew. Every wall holds a story of what we went through. Some brothers chased money, then they lost their soul. Some remained in the shadows, still defending the goal. We had fights, held grudges, let the silence grow. But the bond made in hunger's too deep to let go. When your mother got sick, every brother came through. No cameras in the room, only loyalty true. When I nearly gave up, you reminded me why. Said the man ain't defeated just because he may cry. Now the table has food and the engine runs clean, but I still see the hunger in the old movie scenes. Let the whole world change, let the cold winds blow. I will stand with my brothers till the wheels move slow. Hold the code. Same block, same scars, never leave your brother cold. Never fold, never fold. Never leave your brother cold. Stand your ground, don't run, stand your ground. Blood ain't the reason that we call you family. Stand your ground, don't run, stand your ground. When the darkness comes, you can depend on me. For the brothers underground who never got a name. For the ones who stay loyal with no money or fame. Every scar that we carry is a link in the chain. We may walk different roads, but the code stays the same. Stand your ground, don't run, stand your ground. Blood ain't the reason that we call you family. Stand your ground, don't run, stand your ground. When the darkness comes, you can depend on me. Same code, same code, same code, same code. Same code, same code, same code, same code. Yeah. Before the nicknames, before the records, before anybody feared us or respected us,
We were just two boys, trying not to disappear.
Chapter 1, no names. You lived in apartment 12, I was down in 4. Both of us learned to recognize rage through a door. Your father threw bottles, mine vanished for weeks. So we met by the tracks where the abandoned train sleeps. We did not talk much on that first cold date. You handed me headphones and pressed play on the tape. A rough drum break hit, then a voice spoke truth. For the first time, pain sounded stronger than youth. We started writing names on the side of the wall, not for fame, we just needed proof we existed at all. You chose stone because nobody could move your mind. I chose ghost because the world kept looking through mine. Before we had names, we had each other. Two lost sons teaching strength to a brother. Before the block knew the sound of our pain, we carry one another through the cold and the rain. Chapter 2. The first test. At 16, you fought when they cornered me late. 3 older boys laughing by the housing estate. You took one to the jaw, still you stayed on your feet. Not because you love violence, you refused my defeat. I asked why you risked it, you said
That is the code.
a brother does not calculate the weight of the load. But later in the stairwell, you made me understand. Do not confuse being reckless with becoming a man. That sentence grew slowly as the years moved ahead. Kept my anger from choosing where my future would end. A real brother is not one who helps you attack. He is the one brave enough to hold your worst impulse back. Before we had names, before pride and respect, you protected my future when I could not see it yet. The block gave us anger, but the bond gave it aim. We became better men before we earned any name. No name,
Still brothers.
no fame,
Still brothers.
no name,
Still brothers.
no fame.
Still brothers.
At 22, money finally entered the room. Small shows became tours, every city knew the crew. But pressure found cracks that the poverty missed. Jealous voices kept asking who mattered in the mix. I started believing I carried the sound. You started staying silent whenever I came around. One night in Detroit, every hidden word broke. Years of buried resentment rose through the smoke. You said you love being seen more than you love what we made. I called you ungrateful, said you stood in my shade. We threw every old wound like a weapon at night. 2 brothers using truth in the cruelest way to fight. Then we traveled 6 months on 2 separate roads. Ghosts pretending freedom did not feel cold. Success grew louder, but the music felt thin, because pride won the argument and both brothers did not win. Sometimes the greatest threat to brotherhood is not betrayal.
It is the need to be right.
Chapter 4.
No witnesses.
I found you in the hospital after your mother passed. No cameras, no entourage, no questions asked. You looked at me tired, then you moved your chair. That small empty space said I was welcome there. I did not give speeches, did not defend my side. Just said
I chose my ego.
and a part of us died. You stared at the floor, let the silence remain, and said forgiveness does not mean forgetting the pain. We talked into morning, not as legends or stars, just the boys by the railway comparing the scars. You admitted your envy, I admitted my pride, and the truth cleaned the poison we had carried inside. Before we had names, we had each other,
Like 2 wounded sons.
becoming more than survivors. Before all the stages, before money and fame,
We learned that forgiveness.
protecting the flame. Golden Ghost,
Still standing.
same first take.
Still standing.
Golden Ghost,
Still standing.
same first tape.
Still standing.
Now the crowd knows the alias is painted in light, but those names are just armor we wear for the night. When the speakers go quiet and the tour reaches end, I call you by the name only family and old friends understand. Because a legend is temporary, a reputation can fall, but the boy by the track still remembers it all. Before the world named us, before fortune arrived, you were already my brother. That saved both our lives.
2 notebooks.
1 boombox,
No audience.
that was enough.
2 no. That was enough.
Track rolling. Yeah. He working? Nah. We recording anyway? Always. Basement cold enough to see every breath. Cheap mic hanging from a wire near death. Blankets on the wall trying to soften the sound, while the landlord upstairs kept on stomping around. 2 cans on the table and a half loaf of bread, 30 unpaid bills, but the beat stayed fed. You programmed the drums while I sharpened the verse. Every kick hit hard because the hunger hit worse. We got laughed out the club, got ignored at the door. They said nobody wanted street truth anymore. Said our clothes looked old and I sound too raw, but rejection gave the rhythm more teeth in the jaw. You said let them keep laughing, they don't know what we know. Every seed looks buried right before it can grow, so we recorded till sunrise, fingers numb from the cold. 2 broke young men with a story worth gold. Hunger made us listen, Hardship made us wise. The street gave us scars, but my brother gave me life. Hunger made us brothers, pain gave us a code. We carry one another down a long frozen road. No food in the kitchen, no faith from the crowd, but we built an underground and we built it loud. Built from nothing, built from pain. Hunger made us brothers. Now the whole block knows real family is the one that stays when every doorway closed. First show at 12, people 7 came for the bar. Sound man cut the mic like we never got far, but you rapped every line like the arena was full. Taught me pride comes from heart, not the size of the pool. Afterward, outside, we divided the pay. $20 and change from the end of the day. You tried giving me yours because my lights got cut. I said keep half, brother, both of us seed or none. That was the law before contracts and chains, before strangers learned our faces and repeated our names, before bloggers called the struggle authentic and deep. We were living that truth when the whole town slept. Now they ask for the story like the pain is a trend, like the basement was a costume we could wear and suspend. But that code lies forever in the bones of the sound. Every record is a shovel digging hope from the ground. I remember when you almost walked away. Your mother got sick and the rent couldn't wait. You said music feels selfish when the family needs bread, so I worked double shifts while you stayed by your bed. 6 months later you returned with the verse, voice heavier, calmer, every sentence immersed. We understood then what the underground meant, not a fashion or a sound. It was where loyalty went. One mic, two brothers, one meal, split with each other. One code, never sell. If one breaks down, then the other stands well. Maybe we never become what the magazines praise. Maybe wealth never enters the rooms where we stay. But I already won when you call me your kin. When the cold tried to end us and we still walked in. Every scar has a rhythm, every loss has a drum. Every night without dinner made the morning still come. So turn the old speakers till the concrete shakes. This is brotherhood music that no industry makes. The basement is gone now, but every time that beat drops, we're back inside it. We're back inside it. We're back inside it. I brought 2 microphones. One for the words I can still say, one for the silence you left behind. Look. Carry it forward. Carry it forward. Your face on the wall got fresh paint today. Gold halo, black hoodie, 2 hands raised. Candles fight the wind under tracks overhead. Everybody calls you legend now that you were dead. Funny how love gets loud when the heart cannot hear. People who missed every birthday keep appearing with tears. They post old photographs, call you brother and friend. But where were all those voices near the difficult end? I stand at the edge with your mother beside me. She holds my arm because her knees move weakly. She says you were the one he trusted the most, and the sentence hits harder than the passing train smoke. Because the night that you called, I let it ring twice. I was angry over money, over credit and pride. By the time I called back, another voice said your name, and nothing in my life has sounded normal again. I carry my half and I carry your side.
Carry every unfinished dream you left behind.
But I cannot call it honor if I die while I breathe.
I will live for us both.
That is what you would need. Yeah.
Carry it forward. Carry it.
We argued in the studio over 116. You said I cut your verse to make myself look supreme. I told you stop complaining, said the track needed space. But the truth was your performance put my pride in this place. You walked out angry, slammed the rusted back door, said brotherhood means nothing if respect is ignored. I laughed with the crew like your pain was a show. Too proud to come running, too afraid to let go. A week became a month and the silence grew roots. Both of us told our circles different versions of truth. We were waiting for the other to surrender his pride, never knowing how quickly the last chance could die. 2 microphones, 1 empty booth, one lesson arriving too late. 2 microphones, 1 empty booth, one Look, you found me on the rooftop after my daughter moved. Custody papers folded in my pocket with the news. I said nothing mattered. Said I wanted to jump, you did not give a speech. You just sat on the ledge for 4 straight hours. You stayed in the cold, let me curse every failure I was scared to hold. When sunrise came orange through the factory steam, you said your child needs a father more than death needs a scene. You walked me downstairs, took the bottle from my hand, called my mother yourself, helped me build a new plan. You saved me without asking for a medal or song, and I repaid that grace by needing to be right when you were gone. I carry my half and I carry your side.
Carry the night on the rooftop when you kept me alive.
But guilt is not loyalty and pain is not proof.
So I will build something living from the weight of the truth.
Yo, call me when you cool down. We have been through too much to let one record become bigger than us.
Love you, brother.
Love you, brother. Love you, brother. Love you, brother.
Yeah.
Love you, brother.
I played that message daily till the words became scars. Stopped in the Rick studio, stopped driving your car. I thought joy was betrayal, thought laughter was wrong. Thought surviving meant stealing the years you were owed. Then your mother came over with your notebook in hand, said he wrote out a vision, you should finish the plan. On the first page, a sentence underlined twice. If one brother falls early, the other builds life. Not revenge, not a monument covered in gold. A studio for children, where the stories get told. Free sessions every week and warm food in the back. Teach them ownership, discipline, and how to finish a track. That is how I will carry you, not drowning in blame, but creating new doors in the place where we came. Every child who finds purpose before violence can speak will be one more verse in the legacy we keep.
I carry my half and I carry your side. Carry every unfinished dream you left behind.
I will not call it honor if I die while I breathe.
I will live for us both.
That is what you would need.
Live for the fallen, build for the young.
Speak his truth,
Finish what begun.
two microphones. One voice in the room, one voice in
Every reason
I've refused to give up.
Yes, brother.
I will take it from here.
I will take it from here.
No stage tonight. No VIP section. No cameras in the circle. Just the young, the old, and the truth. 8 bars each. No lies. No glorifying what buried our friends. Speak!
Round 1, what we survived.
We came from an era where pride stayed on, where boys learned revenge before learning to mourn. Every block had a funeral, every wall had a face, but we called it being normal because pain filled the place. I have bragged about nights that should fill me with shame, turned survival to mythology and violence to fame. Now I owe every young era more honest account. Some roads made us legends, but too many did not make it out. Then why did your records make the danger sound strong? Why did every hard choice get a memorable song? We grew up repeating every threat that you made. Now you tell us there was fear underneath the display. That question is fair, and I carry the blame. We told half of the truth because the hurt sold our name. So learn from our music, but examine the cost. Do not imitate the armor and become what we lost. The code we leave must be wiser than pain, more than matching black jackets and defending the name. If the young repeat our scars, then our struggle was waste. Real brothers build a road from the wreckage they face. Round two. Loyalty is not helping your brother do wrong, not hiding every secret while destruction moves on. It is taking his keys when his judgment is gone, sitting beside him in court, then correcting him at home. It is splitting show money before buying the chain, giving credit in public, speaking conflict in plain, never using no drama when an argument grows, and protecting his children if the worst chapter closed. What if your brother betrays you for a deal or a check? Do you forgive and pretend there was never disrespect? Does the code mean accepting whatever he does just because you made promises when both of you were young? Forgiveness is not access, understand the divide. You can release all the hatred and still close the side. Some brothers earn distance through the choices they make. The code does not demand that you welcome every snake, but do not turn revenge to the purpose you breathe. Do not let his betrayal decide what you believe. Keep your boundary strong, keep your spirit control. Walking away without poison is another form of code. Do not bury,
That is the code.
correct respect, do not carry.
That is the code.
Own every master.
That is the code.
No brother left hungry.
That is the code. Round 3.
Ownership. Read every contract, every clause, every line. Never trade 15 years for one glamorous night. Keep copies of sessions, know the worth of your name. A company loves culture when it profits from pain. Pay your producer respect who designed it. Credit the quiet one standing behind it. Brotherhood dies when the money arrives, and one man calls it business while stealing the others alive. But we come from no money, every offer feels large. When the rent needs paying, who can question the terms? It is easy to say patience when your own house is warm. Some of us sign quickly because hunger is a storm. You are right, never shame a man pressed by his knees. That is why older brothers must provide more than speech. We will bring you attorneys, teach, publish, and splits. Build emergency funds so desperation cannot pick. Advice without resources is a comfortable lie. So the veterans must act, not just criticize. If we own buildings now while the young lose control, then our success has money but has abandoned its soul. Legacy is not how many people remember your face. Legacy is how many people avoid your mistakes, because you finally told the whole truth.
I will never call destruction proof that I am real.
I will tell my brother
The truth before the wound cannot heal.
double check.
I will share every credit with the hands that help create.
I will not let temporary applause
Determine who I betray.
I will protect the young without controlling their voice. I won't teach them every consequence behind each choice. I will seek help when the pressure grows stronger than pride. I will honor those we lost by keeping the living alive. I will not confuse silence with masculine strength. I will stay through the healing even when healing takes length. I will remember the basement when the biggest rooms call. I will never become rich by making my brother feel small.
The code we leave must be wiser than pain, more than neighborhood colors or defending the name. If the young build beyond us, then our struggle had worth.
Real brothers.
I saw you falling into the abyss. You thought I was gonna let you hit the bottom? Never that.
When the gravity pulls you directly to the grave, I am the heavily loyal brother coming to save. That emotional. I watched you spiraling. It's dark, yeah. I watched you spiraling completely out of control, losing the magnificent grip on your holy soul. The heavy addiction was clouding your brilliant brain, washing away your historical massive gain. You pushed the loyal, foundational brothers away, walking deeply into the devastating heavy grave. I saw you sleeping upon the freezing concrete floor, begging for the heavy dimes at the liquor store. The superficial temporary friends completely left, committing the devastating psychological theft. But I couldn't abandon a loyal brother in need. I initiated the deeply magnificent deed. I picked you up from the absolute heavy dirt, wiping away the historical generational hurt. I brought you deeply into my own sanctuary home, refusing to let you dangerously, blindly roam.
Pull the cord, break the fall.
Answering the deeply historical call.
When the gravity is pulling you to the ground,
We the parachute making a victorious sound. Yeah, I got you.
you hated me for locking you in that room to get clean. But look at you now, standing tall. Step to the mic, brother.
I sat with you during the agonizing withdrawal, watching you desperately, heavily, painfully crawl. I heavily locked the heavy, impenetrable door, keeping me away from the devastating store. I cursed your historical, magnificent name, fighting the internal, heavily burning flame. But you absorbed the historical, heavy blows, knowing exactly how the dark addiction goes. You acted as the absolute, impenetrable shield, refusing to cowardly, heavily ever yield to the historical, deeply terrifying demon, guiding the lost, heavily navigating seamen back to the heavy, beautifully illuminated shore, providing the heavily magnificent absolute cure. You are the parachute that heavily saved my life, cutting the historical, devastating knife.
You found your magnificent holy way,
Stepping into the brilliantly brighter day.
the brotherhood heavily saved your life.
Surviving the deeply historical strife. remains to be heavily found,
washing away the historical heavy stain.
walking the magnificent mile in the rain.
Pull the cord, break the fall,
Answering the deeply historical call.
when the gravity is pulling you to the ground. We the parachute making a victorious sound.
Yeah, I got you.
Yeah.
I got you. I got you. I got you.
To your second chance,
I got you.
don't ever look back. I owe you my life, brother. A shout out to everybody fighting their demons. Keep pushing. We out.
I got you. I got you.
Yeah. Everybody wants to be the boss until it's time to do boss things. The crown looks like gold, but it feels like iron heavy. 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 Heavy.
I sit at the head of the heavily decorated table, the heavily undisputed author of the heavily urban fable. The soldiers salute me when I'm heavily walking by. No deeply embedded rival is willing to heavily try. I dictate the deeply heavily economic pace, controlling the heavily deeply historical urban space. The money is heavily flowing in deeply magnificent streams, fulfilling the deeply heavily capitalistic dreams. I built a deeply heavily fortified, heavily massive wall, ensuring the heavily deeply historical empire won't fall. The power is heavily intoxicating, deeply profound. I am the heavily undisputed king of the town. They ask for the deeply heavily monumental advice, knowing I pay the heavily deeply incredible heavy price.
A king doesn't just wear a crown, he carries the weight of every casualty in his kingdom.
Heavy is the head that is wearing the crown, watching the heavily historical empire burning down. The respect is heavily paid with a deeply profound sorrow, praying the heavily deeply loyal soldiers see tomorrow.
Yeah, dare to wait. Yeah, dare to wait. Yeah, dare to wait. Yeah, better wait.
But behind the heavily closed doors, I heavily deeply suffer the mental wars. When a young soldier is heavily deeply tragically killed, the heavily deeply profound guilt is heavily spilled. I gotta heavily look deeply in his mother's eyes, and heavily deeply fabricate the lies, telling her that he died for a heavily deeply noble cause, hiding the heavily deeply incredibly devastating flaws. The crown is heavily deeply incredibly made of the thorns. Every heavily deeply single time she mourns. I'm deeply heavily deeply entirely responsible, carrying the deeply incredibly deeply impossible weight of the heavily deeply human lives, protecting the deeply incredibly vulnerable wives. I heavily deeply want to completely step down, but who is gonna heavily deeply protect the town? I heavily deeply carry the cross, the deeply incredibly devastating ultimate boss.
Heavy is the head that is wearing the crown, watching the heavily historical empire burning down. The respect is heavily paid with the deeply profound sorrow, praying the heavily deeply loyal soldiers see tomorrow. Yeah, bear to wait. Yeah, bear to wait. Yeah, bear to wait. Yeah, bear to wait.
Everybody, boss. Everybody.
Time is a thief, man. It takes everything, but it leaves the ghost behind. Engine. engine. Engine, engine purring quiet, 2 a.m. on the dash. Memories hitting my brain like a camera flash. I made it out the trench, got a house on the hill, but the ghosts of the block are residing with me still. Looking in the rear view, I see my brother's face, caught up in the system, running in the devil's race. He took the left turn, I took the right path. Now I'm dealing with the guilt in the silent aftermath. Champagne in my glass, but it tastes like the rain. Every victory I celebrate is shadowed by the pain. We used to split a slice of pizza, starving in the cold. Now I'm watching how the hourglass turns us into old. I got survivor's guilt heavy, sitting on my chest. Why did I make it out? Why they laid to rest? I walk through the old block, ghosts on every corner. Feels like I'm the last man, the designated mourner. Pour the glass, feel the weight, standing alone at heaven's gate. Pour the glass, feel the weight, standing alone at heaven's gate. Pour the glass, feel the weight, standing at the heaven's gate. Pour the glass, feel the weight, standing alone at heaven's gate. I tell their stories so they never truly die. Paint their faces in the clouds in the summer sky. I'm the vessel holding all the untold dreams, stitching up the fabric of the torn apart scenes. I made a promise to the mothers crying in the pew that I would do the things that their sons couldn't do. So every single plaque, every dollar that I make is dedicated to the ones asleep that can't wake. Money changed the zip code, money changed the clothes, but it never changes how the bitter story goes. Every time I make a move, I do it for the crew, living out the vision that they never got to view. I wear the custom suit, but I'm scarred underneath, still sleeping with the memories underneath the sheet. It's a heavy burden, but my shoulders built strong. I weave the tragic melodies inside of my song. They say time heals all wounds, nah. Time just teaches you how to walk. With a limp, I still feel every loss. Pour the glass, feel the weight, standing alone at the heaven's gate. Pour the glass, feel the weight, standing alone at heaven's gate. Pour the glass, feel the weight. Pour the glass, feel the weight, standing alone at heaven's gate. Yeah. Rest in peace to the soldiers. I'm carrying the names until we meet again. But it leaves the ghosts behind. Say his name softly, keep it close. Never gone from the road. Say his name softly, keep it close. Every brother still carries his soul. Still alive in the cold. Yeah. Rest easy. We were kids on the corner with the word on our backs, writing dreams in a notebook over secondhand tracks. You were first in the room when my confidence broke. Always gave me your last when your own pocket smoked. We would laugh at the pain, never showing the strain. Walk for miles through the cold and come home in the rain. Every beat that we made had a piece of your heart. You believed in the crew from the very first start. Then the call in the night made the whole block freeze. Saw your mother on the sidewalk fall down to her knees. No words in my mouth, only fire in my chest. Had to stand with the brothers while we laid you to rest. Now I drive past the corner where your old shadows stay. And I hear your voice calling through the smoke and the haze. Say his name. Oh, when one brother falls, every brother feels the pain. Never gone, never gone. We remember every name. Hold him close, don't fade. Hold him close. Even in the silence, we can hear him loud. Ride. Hold him close, don't fade. Hold him close. Every lost brother still walks with the crowd. pass by, but the wounds stay deep. Some nights I still see you whenever I sleep. Your old jacket still hangs in the back of the room, like a piece of the light that survived on the gloom. We kept feeding your family, never spoke of the cost, because taking care of yours means you're never fully lost. Some brothers found peace, some still battle the rage. Some are trapped in the cell, writing pain on the page. But whenever we gather, there's a chair left for you, and we pour out the little like the old brothers do. Every wind that we touch has your fingerprints there. Every breath that we take is another shared prayer. They can tear down the block, they can cover the storm, but a brother, remember, will never be gone. Say his name. Oh, when one brother falls, every brother feels the pain. Never gone, never gone. We remember every name. Hold him close, don't fade. Hold him close. Even in the silence, we can hear him loud. Hold him close, don't fade. Hold him close. Every lost brother still walks with the crowd. Yeah. To the brother still breathing, keep the circle tight. Call your brother in the darkness, don't wait for the light. We were never born rich, but our loyalty remains, and the ones beneath the ground still survive through our names. Hold them close, don't fade. Oh, even in the silence, we can hear him loud. Hold them close, don't fade. Hold them close. Every lost brother still walks with the crowd. Say his name. Say his name. Say his name. Say his name. Say his name.
Yeah. Keep the tape spinning. Keep the tape spinning.
Keep it alive.
No spotlight. No spotlight.
We still survive.
Keep the tape spinning.
Keep it alive.
Old school in the blood, underground in the mind.
Never die. Never die. Never die.
Never die.
Yeah.
Rewind that.
We learn rhythm from the pipes in the basement room. One microphone, one speaker, barely making room. No label at the door, no manager calling, just brothers writing verses while the ceiling kept falling. Every scratch on the record had a story to tell. Every rhyme was a ladder from the bottom of hell. We traded sleep for the music, kept the volume down low, so the neighbors never knew how far the dreams could go. You held the cable steady when the signal went weak. I gave you half my verse when you had nothing to speak. No followers or numbers, only trust in the sound. We built the whole world underneath the cold ground. They can copy the fashion, but they cannot disguise the truth in the no tape. Never fades, never die.
Keep the tape alive. Old school in our hearts, let the real sound survive.
Let it roll, let it roll.
Let the real sound survive.
Pass it down, don't stop, pass it down.
Every brother left a story in the underground.
Spin, 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 pass it down, don't stop, pass it down.
Even when we're gone, let the tape keep spinning round. Yeah. Now the clubs look different and the streets got clean, but I still hear the drums from the old machine. Some brothers found money, some disappeared, some still rap the truth that the industry feared. We never chased the trend just to fit in the frame. We would rather stay unknown than abandon the name. When your voice started shaking, we completed the song, because brotherhood means helping when the road feels long. Every argument ended when the beat came through. One nod from the crew and the whole room knew. No matter where life took us, no matter the cost, we protected the culture and remembered the loss. Now a younger generation puts the needle down slow, and the spirit of the basement starts to breathe once more. Old school in our hearts, let the real sound survive.
Let it roll, let it roll.
Let the real sound survive. Hey.
Pass it down, don't stop, pass it down.
Every brother left a story in the underground.
Pass it down, don't stop, pass it down.
Even Even when we're gone, let the tape keep spinning round. Old school is not clothing or a chain made of gold. It is truth in your words and the promises you hold. It is standing with your brother when the story goes untold. It is keeping every lesson that the basement ever showed. Pass it down, don't stop. Every brother left a story in the underground. Pass it down, don't stop. Pass it down, even when we're gone, let the tape keep spinning round.
Keep it spinning, keep it spinning, keep it spinning. Keep it spinning, keep it spinning.
Mic check, mic check, mic check. 1, 2, 1, 2. We taking it back to the essence. No cameras, no labels, just the concrete in the truth. Yeah. I step into the cypher, hoodie pulled over my head, spitting out the heavy thoughts that the mainstream left for dead. No auto-tune illusions, just the raw breath control, a rhythm born from the pavement, speaking straight to the soul. They chasing the algorithms, trying to get a quick stream. I'm studying the legends, protecting the street dream. We passing the mic around like a torch in the night. Every syllable is a weapon, preparing for the fight. No $1 million studio, just the corner and the block. We rhyming to the rhythm of the city's heavy clock.
The mic is a weapon, the street is the stage. Spitting out the truth from a concrete cage. We don't need the flashing lights, keep the lyrics clean. Living in the shadows of the underground scene. The mic is a weapon, the street is the stage.
Writing our own history
On a brand new page.
Yeah, brand new page. I see these artificial rappers with their manufactured style, selling out the culture just to make the industry smile. But underground, we built a fortress out of broken bricks, ignoring all the corporate traps and the magic tricks. It's a sacred religion when the beatbox starts to pound, a symphony of rebels shaking up the underground. So pass me the microphone, let me elevate the space, leaving authentic poetry all over the place. I'm looking in the eyes of my brothers in the ring. We ain't got a lot of money, but inside we are kings.
The mic is a weapon, the street is the stage. Spitting out the truth from a concrete cage. We don't need the flashing lights, keep the lyrics clean. Living in the shadows of the underground scene. The mic is a weapon, the street is the stage.
Writing our own history
On a brand new page.
Now look around the circle, see the fire in the eyes of hungry young lyricists piercing through the lies. We ain't rapping about the ice or the cars we don't own. We rapping about the struggle in the designated zone. This is therapy sessions for the kids with no voice, making revolutionary music, cause we ain't got a choice. When the money dries up and the labels disappear, the cipher will remain loud and crystal clear. It's the pulse of the city, the voice of the unheard. We shifting the paradigm with every spoken word.
The mic is a weapon, the street is the stage. Spitting out the truth from a concrete cage. We don't need the flashing lights, keep the lyrics clean. Living in the shadows of the underground scene. The mic is a weapon, the street is the stage. Writing our own history on a brand new
page. Underground, real hip hop, real hip hop. 1, 2, 1, 2. Real hip hop. There's no jealousy in our circle. When one man shines, the whole crew illuminates. We eradicate the ego, eradicate the pride. Two undisputed kings riding side by side. Let's show them how we move. Drop it, drop it.
ensuring the deeply magnificent historical fate. While you was in the heavily isolated vocal booth, spitting the heavily undeniable original truth. I kept the deeply parasitic vultures far away, so you could heavily, safely, and majestically play the deeply profound in the musical magical note, keeping the heavily underground independent boat afloat. The streets are incredibly viciously ambitious, but our deeply monumental vision is propitious. I took the incredibly heavy physical risk so you could heavily burn the independent disc. We operating perfectly with the unified brain, navigating the incredibly heavy, terrifying rain. You are the heavily profound, magnificent voice, and I am the heavily protective, ultimate choice. Push the line, watch us shine, perfectly executing the heavy design. Iron sharpens iron, we elevate the skill, climbing to the top of the monumental hill. Yeah, elevate. You built the fortress, I just painted the walls. Iron sharpens iron.
Grab the mic and finish this.
Yeah, I deeply recognize the heavy sacrifice you made, walking inside the heavily terrifying shade, so I can heavily shine in the magnificent light, winning the incredibly deeply intellectual fight. Every single heavily syllable I passionately spit is deeply, heavily, perfectly lit by the incredibly protected fire you heavily bring, allowing the deeply magnificent choir to sing. When the industry heavily tried to deeply deceive, you was the deeply heavy reason I continue to believe. We split the incredibly heavy independent check, commanding the deeply absolute profound respect. The music is heavily saving our historical lives, sharpening the deeply intellectual heavy knives. I'm dedicating this heavily magnificent verse to you, the realest heavily profound brother that I knew. We heavily push each other to be incredibly great, unlocking the deeply heavily golden gate. No jealousy existing in the inner circle, eradicating every heavily individual hurdle. I lay the beat down, you provide the heavy spark, illuminating the deeply terrifying heavy dark. A legendary duo etched into the holy stone. We never heavily walking the violent streets alone. Push the line, watch us shine, perfectly executing the heavy design. Iron sharpens iron, we elevate the skill, climbing to the top of the monumental hill. Yeah, elevate. Yeah, elevate. Yeah, elevate. Real brotherhood, real brotherhood, real brotherhood, real brotherhood, real brotherhood, real brotherhood, real brotherhood. You pull that trigger, you think you're ending his life, but you're ending yours too. There's two sides to every barrel. Yeah. Yeah. 16 years old with a heart full of heavy rage, trapped like an animal inside a concrete cage. They took my brother, left him bleeding on the avenue. Now I'm gripping on the steel, figuring what I gotta do. The streets whispering my name, demanding a retaliation, fueling the anger of a deeply broken generation. I'm walking through the night, looking for the opposition, blinded by the vengeance, ignoring the intuition. I see him on the corner, standing under the light, my finger on the trigger, getting ready for the fight. I think this bullet is gonna instantly bring me peace, but the cycle of the violence is never gonna cease. A life for a life, but the math never adds up. When the smoke clears, everybody loses. Two sides of the barrel, one tragic end, losing an enemy and losing a friend. The system is laughing while we bleeding in the street. Wake up from the nightmare, accept the defeat. Yeah, 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 yeah. Ow. Yeah, 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 yeah. Now flip the script, look at the aftermath of the scene. The mother screaming loud in the devastating routine. She picking out a casket instead of a graduation suit, harvesting the bitter and the unforgiving fruit. The boy you shot had a daughter who was barely 3. Now she's growing up fatherless in the community, and you sitting in the cell facing 25 to life, adding to the generational and historical strife. The judge hits the gavel, the prosecutor smiles. Another statistic added to the penitentiary files. We fighting each each other doing the oppressor's dirty work, while the real enemies heavily and quietly lurk. Put the weapon down, brother, pick up a different tool before you drown entirely in a deeply bloody
Two sides of the barrel.
one tragic end, losing an enemy and losing a friend.
The system is laughing
While we bleeding in the street, wake up from the nightmare, accept the defeat. Yeah, 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 yeah. Put the guns down. We are our own worst enemy.
Protect of the youth. They kept me in that room for 12 hours. Thought I was gonna break. I didn't give them a single syllable.
They can lock the physical body in the heavy steel, but they can never unlock the loyalty that I feel.
Bring the drums in, drums in, drums in. Bring the drums in. Bring the drums, bring the drums in. Yeah,
They put the handcuffs on, threw me in the back of the car. Told me my final destination was incredibly far. They put the bright light heavily in my tired face, trying to force me to surrender and accept the disgrace. The detective was smiling, placing the deal on the wood, saying you sold me out, escaping the violent hood. But I know the psychology, the manipulative test, trying to plant a seed of doubt inside of my chest. I looked them dead in the eye, didn't utter a word, the loudest silence that the precinct could ever heard. I'd rather rot in a cell, isolated and blind, than leave my deeply loyal underground brother behind. We took an open the alley, cutting the palm of the hand, a deeply spiritual bond they would never understand. You hold the fort on the outside, secure the estate, while I am stoically accepting this undeniable fate.
swallow the key, bite the tongue. Keeping the song of the loyal unsung. Swallow the key, bite the tongue. Keeping the song of the loyal unsung.
I got the call in the midnight, heard they took you away. I immediately contacted the lawyers without a delay. They trying to build a narrative, trying to fabricate lies, but they can't penetrate the brotherhood's heavy disguise. I'm locking down the perimeter, securing the stash, hiding the documents complete, burying the cash. If they think they can use you to get directly to me, they underestimating the power of the family tree. I'm making sure your mother got the food on the plate while you navigating the treacherous governmental gate. We communicated heavily without making a sound, a deeply invisible network completely underground. They searching for the evidence, looking for the cracks, but we flawlessly covering each other's historical backs. No cooperation, no statements, absolutely no deals, operating strictly on the unadulterated real. The interrogation room is a mental attack. I got the lawyers on the outside watching your back. I didn't give them a syllable, didn't give them a name. We flawlessly navigating the historical game. The loyalty is a currency that they cannot buy. We look in the manipulative system straight in the eye. I swallow the heavy, keep burying the absolute truth, protecting the generational legacy of the youth.
Swallow the key, bite the tongue. Keeping the song of the loyal unsung. Swallow the key, bite the tongue. Keeping the song of the loyal unsung. Bring the bombs in. The code is silence, real brothers. Keep the secret to the grave. No snitching, no folding, we out. Bring the drums, bring the drums up, bring the drums in. Go, 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 go.
You don't have to be the loudest to be the most dangerous. Just watch. Just listen.
Watch the corners, read the signs, read in between the concrete lines. Stay in the shadows, keep it slow.
Only a fool, as everybody know.
Watch the corners, reading between the concrete lines. Stay in the shadows, keep it slow.
Only a fool, as everybody know. Yeah, watch him, watch him, watch him, watch him. Leaning on the brick wall, blending with the dark. Watching how the local predators hunt inside the park. Youngins moving reckless, chasing after shiny chains. Ignoring all the wisdom running through the older veins. I don't say a word, I just hit the cigar blunt. I can see the fear hiding right behind the tough front. The black is a chessboard, everybody is a piece. Dodging the informants and the undercover police. I'm a silent spectator with the photographic mind, leaving all the petty childish arguments behind. When you keep your mouth shut, people show you who they are. You can see the real intentions from a million miles afar. I don't need a heavy crew, I don't need a massive gang. I survived the jungle using everything my mama sang. Let them make the noise, let them attract the flashing light. I'm the undisputed phantom of the metropolitan night.
Watch the corners, read the signs, reading between the concrete lines. Stay in the shadows, keep it slow.
Only a fool, as everybody know.
Watch the corners, read the signs, reading between the concrete lines. Stay in the shadows, keep it slow.
Only a fool, as everybody know. Riding in the cutlass, cruising at a steady pace. No emotion showing on my solitary face. I can see the envy in the peripheral view. Fake friends smiling, planning what they gonna do. But I'm 10 steps ahead, playing on a different board. Quietly securing everything I can afford. I don't flaunt the money, keep the tires looking dull. Protecting the intelligence sitting inside the skull. They wanna be the kingpin, wanna hold the plastic crown, but the heavy gravity is gonna eventually pull them down. I'm investing in the silence, paying for the peace of mind, leaving the chaotic and the violent ever far behind. Surviving is an art form, a delicate ballet, avoiding all the traps that the devil tries to lay. Keep your vision sharp, never let the focus drift. Operating smoothly on the graveyard shift.
We don't have to move when it's time. Everything else is just a distraction.
Watch the corners, read the signs, reading between the concrete lines. Stay in the shadows, keep it slow.
Only a fool, as everybody know.
Watch the corners, read the signs, reading between the concrete lines. Stay in the shadows, keep it slow.
Only a fool, as everybody know. Yeah, watch 'em, watch 'em. Keep your eyes open. Keep your eyes open. Lips, that's the formula. Sometimes you just gotta sit in the car and let the rain wash it all away. Let it pour. Let it pour. Wash the chrome. Wash the chrome. Nah. Sitting in the driver's seat, watching the wiper blaze, thinking about the choices and the sacrifices made. City looks peaceful when it's soaked in the rain. Washes all the blood and it numbs all the pain. Neon signs reflecting in the puddles on the street. I'm finding my sanctuary right inside the beat. Ain't nowhere to be, ain't nobody to see. Just a moment of silence for a sinner like me. The hustle never stops, but tonight I take a pause. Tired of the violence and the breaking of the laws. Let the water cleanse the dirt off the chrome. Long way to go, but I'm finally heading home. I don't hold grudges, I let the anger release. The ultimate luxury is in the peace. Keep the window cracked, smell the ozone in the air. Whispering the quiet and the solitary prayer. Let it pour, let it wash the chrome. Navigating through the storm. Let it pour, wash the chrome. Navigating through the storm. Let it pour, let it wash the chrome. Navigating through the storm. Wash the chrome. Navigating through. My soul is exhausted from the constant paranoia. Trusting nobody, not the judge or the lawyer. Everybody wearing masks, playing different roles. selling out their brothers just to reach their goals. But tonight the rain makes everybody equal. No heroes, no villains, ain't no sequel. Just humans trying not to drown in the flood, trying to keep the water from mixing with the blood. I turn the radio dial, find the classic groove. Let the bass line tell me how I need to move. Sometimes the greatest strength is sitting still, looking out the window, looking at the hill. When the city goes to sleep and the sirens wail, I'm the one who writes the ending to the untold tale. No medals for the change, no parades in the town, just a man pulling himself up from the ground. Listen to the drops, it's the city crying for everything we lost. Wash it clean, start over. Tomorrow, let it pour, let it wash the chrome.
Navigating through the storm.
Let it pour, wash the chrome.
Navigating through the storm.
Let it pour, let it wash the chrome.
Navigating through the storm.
Wash the chrome.
Breathe deep.
Leave the heavy sins behind.
Make it home. Make it home.
They keep us fighting over the crumbs on the floor, so we never look up to see who's eating the whole pie. The real enemy wears a tie. Yeah. They keep us fighting over the We loading the heavily modified, dangerous clips. The deeply embedded hatred resting heavy on the lips. Red and the blue colors dividing the deeply broken block, worshiping the deeply destructive, heavily loaded Glock. We fighting the brothers who looking exactly like us, throwing the entire community perfectly under the bus. The drive-by shootings tearing the heavily fragile peace, providing the overtime for the heavily armed police. We claim that we heavily protecting the neighborhood turf, but we heavily acting like a deeply uneducated serf. The territorial pride is a heavily blinding disease, bringing the deeply powerful warriors right to their knees. We deeply distracted by the heavily localized petty beef, operating blindly under a heavily manipulated belief. Follow the money, the bullets stop at the corner, but the profits go downtown. Fighting a war that we cannot see, blindfolds on the heavily broken community. The puppet master pulling heavily on the green strings, while the deeply devastated neighborhood sadly sings. Yeah. The strings. Look at the heavily fortified banks in the corporate suites. They deeply profiting from the heavily violent streets. They heavily redline the deeply impoverished broken zone, ensuring the deeply historical property is never owned. They build the privately funded heavily massive prisons, creating the incredibly deep in the systematic divisions. We are the inventory heavily processed and stocked, ensuring the heavily deeply systemic doors remain locked. The real gangsters are heavily sitting in the parliament, passing the heavily destructive, deeply legal document. Once you realize the heavily orchestrated complex scheme, you heavily deeply wake up from the deeply violent dream. We gotta heavily unify the divided tribes, rejecting the heavily deeply embedded political bribes. Turn the heavily intellectual weapon to the sky, refusing to let the deeply historical legacy die. Fighting a war that we cannot see, blindfolds on the heavily broken community. The puppet master pulling heavily on the green strings, while the deeply devastated neighborhood sadly sings. See the strings. Strings. Stop fighting your mirror image. Look up, see who's pulling the strings. Unity is our only weapon.
One mic, one hand, one truth, and no brains. One beat, one code, past the flame, down the road. I learned from a brother with gray in his beard. He said, never make a record that your people cannot feel. Don't confuse being famous with commanding respect. A million empty listeners cannot pay your moral debt. He taught me how to pause, how to breathe through the snare, how to speak for the brother who was never given air, how to sharpen every sentence without sharpening hate, and how to leave a door open when I finally reach the gate. Past the flame,
Don't own it,
speak the truth,
then show it.
when the youngest brother grows.
Make sure he already knows.
I watch crews fall apart over placement on a song. Everybody wanted credit, nobody admitted wrong. One brother took the center to the circle, lost shape. Another sold the old masters just to purchase a chain. So we returned to the bridge where the whole thing began. No stage, no security, just a mic in the hand. Every rapper got a verse, every brother got time. Nobody stood above us because nobody owned the rhyme.
Old school is not the year printed under a track. It is giving what you learned and expecting nothing back. It is checking on your brother when his voice becomes strange. It is telling him the truth before the money makes him change. It is protecting every master, every story, every name, then placing that microphone inside a younger hand again.
Who owns the sound?
Nobody alone.
Who carries the code?
Every brother coming home.
What happens when I'm gone?
What happens when I'm gone?
The rhythm still remains.
We never hold the crown. We only pass the flame.
One mic,
Many names.
same circle.
Pass the flame.
One mic. One mic.
Many names. Many names.
One mic.